Have you ever felt like there's some kind of invisible wall between you and the life you really want? You know that feeling, where no matter how hard you try, something just seems to be holding you back? Well, this explainer, based on Brianna Wace's incredible book, The Mountain Is You, is going to give you the map to understand and finally conquer that very obstacle.
And here's the core idea right up front. Our biggest challenges, they aren't these random things happening to us. No, they are a mountain that we have to climb. And that mountain is inside ourselves. So this journey isn't about fighting the world. It's about mastering yourself.
So let's start with a really fundamental shift in perspective. You know those recurring problems, the ones that seem to follow you around no matter where you go? They are not just bad luck. They're actually direct reflections of your own inner world.
And this is a super important distinction to make. A circumstantial problem, that's just life. It happens. But a chronic problem, the same relationship issue over and over, the same money struggles, that same feeling of being stuck, that's a pattern. And that pattern, that's you coming face to face with yourself.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Why do we do this? Why do we get in our own way? The secret here is to completely reframe self-sabotage. It's not a personal failure. Think of it more like a protective mechanism, a map that we just need to learn how to read.
So here's what's really going on beneath the surface. Self-sabotage is basically a conflict between the life you think you want and some deep, unconscious, unmet need. Your weird behavior is simply trying to get that need met. See, it's not self-hatred. It's just a really misguided attempt at self-preservation. And once you get that, you can stop blaming yourself and start getting curious.
A lot of the time, these self-sabotaging behaviors are just old coping mechanisms that don't work for you anymore. Procrastinating on that huge project, that could just be your way of avoiding the vulnerability of maybe failing. Or staying in a job you hate, that could be about finding comfort in what's familiar, even if it's miserable. The behavior isn't the real problem, it's just a symptom.
And sometimes our brains do this really weird thing. We take our biggest, most legitimate fears, and we project them onto smaller, seemingly irrational ones. For instance, a fear of driving might have nothing to do with cars. It could be a projection of a way deeper fear, like losing control of your life's direction. Your mind just picks a safer target for all that anxiety.
Oh man, the stories you tell yourself are so incredibly powerful. If you grew up believing something like rich people are greedy, you might unconsciously torpedo your own finances just to avoid becoming someone you were taught to dislike. These outdated beliefs, usually from when we were kids, create this powerful resistance to any goal that goes against them.
This also ties into something called the upper limit problem. We all have this sort of internal thermostat for happiness, and when things get too good, better than what feels normal and familiar, we subconsciously do something to drag ourselves back down to our baseline. We might start a fight or create some drama just because this new level of success feels kind of scary and foreign.
Okay, so now that we kind of get the why, we can start to shift our whole perspective. What if the things that upset us the most, our emotional triggers, what if they aren't obstacles at all? What if they're actually signposts? They are in fact our most powerful guides for this climb.
This quote from the book just lays it out so perfectly. Your trigger is like a spotlight, shining directly on a wound that needs to be healed. And when you tend to that wound, you discover your path. And when you start walking that path, well, that's how you find your destiny.
All right, this is where we get super practical. Theory time is over. We've read the map, we understand the terrain, and now we need the gear for the ascent. These are the real actionable tools you can start using, like today, to turn that self-sabotage into self-mastery. Tool number 1. I want you to completely forget the idea of a dramatic breakthrough. Real, lasting change almost never happens in one giant aha moment. It happens through micro-shifts, tiny, consistent daily actions. So instead of trying to overhaul your entire life, just add 1 glass of water. Instead of vowing to write a whole book, just write 1 single sentence. These little wins build unstoppable momentum. And tool number 2, learn to disconnect your actions from your feelings. You can feel fear and still move forward. It's a simple 3-step process. Step 1, acknowledge the feeling without judging it. Okay, I feel anxious. Step 2, identify the logical next step. The logical thing to do is make that phone call. Step 3, act. Just do the thing. Every single time you do this, you are literally rewiring your brain and making your comfort zone bigger.
And finally, you have to clear out your emotional backlog.
Unprocessed emotions get stuck in our bodies, and they drive our behavior from the background. You can clear them out by journaling, which gives them a voice. You can try visualizing, just sitting with a feeling and asking it what it needs. Or you can do a physical release, sweat, move, cry. Just remember, emotions are energy. They have to move.
Okay, this brings us to the final and honestly the most empowering part of our climb. The focus now shifts away from fixing what's broken in the past to actively building the person you want to become in the future. And here is the ultimate tool. I want you to visualize the highest, most evolved version of yourself. This isn't just some fantasy, it's your actual potential. Now, put that person in charge. Make them the CEO of your life. Let them start calling the shots.
And this is your new daily operating question. It's that simple. When you're faced with a choice, what to eat, how to answer that email, whether to go to the gym, don't ask what you feel like doing. Ask, what would my most powerful self do? And let that answer guide you. This one question will align all your little daily choices with your biggest vision for your life.
And really, that's what this all boils down to. The whole journey was never about conquering some big, scary mountain out there. It was always a journey inward. The addictions, the fears, the self-sabotage, they were never the real mountain. They were just pointing you to the path of mastering the only thing you ever truly can, yourself.